All right, here is an update on the 22-inch Enterprise, and show you that the seams on the saucer section, if I can get my light just right, are non-existent. There you can see a faint line, and I can't find it now, but there's just one spot on the top saucer here. There's pretty much nothing there. So with a little work and a little patience, you can see where the seam line is. I'm not trying to fool you. This is all taken care of, and this is the color that I'm going with. This is the counter primer that I showed you. I will sand it down, get it all nice and smooth, because it's not really smooth yet, but I will sand it down and get it smooth, and then I will shoot it with either a gloss or a satin. Get ready for the decals. If you'll remember, this is the primer that I told you that I use for all my original series enterprises, and I'll be using this on the Daedalus as well. Like I say, this is I have it on good authority that this is a very close match to the paint that is actually on the ship, the color of the ship. And once again, you can see where the seam line is underneath, but there's no seam line. Now I've got to come back in and fix right here, because this is a weak joint and it keeps cracking on me. But once I get the top mounted on, and because I got to fix the seam around the top saucer anyway, that will be taken care of. And there is just a faint, if I can get the light just right, this is just where the primer didn't cover very well. But like I say, the little work, you can make that seam go away. And same thing on the secondary hull, and I will show you that in just a second. This is the bottom sensor array that was the resin piece. You can see I cut out the old one and sanded it flat. So let's get this out of the way, and I don't want to handle that too much, because the paint primer is not cured all the way. And now on the secondary hull, and this is kind of wobbly, but it won't be once I get it. Which I've got another, I don't know what I've done with it, but I've got a longer brass rod that this is going to go in, but it's actually be up a little higher. I just used this one to hold to shoot the primer on it, because I wanted to see where my issues were. The stand is coming out pretty good. Got a little bit, looks like I got some junk in the paint, little spots right there. And you can see I didn't completely get rid of that slot there, but you know, once it's done, you'll never, unless you're looking for it, you'll never see it. Only thing I got left to do here, if I get this out, well, didn't realize I forgot I hadn't glued that down yet. But all I got to do is come back in. I'm gonna mask off the star and then paint the star black, and then that will be what the base will look like. Now this is the secondary hull, and if you'll notice, if you'll remember, and I still got a little bit of putty work to do right there. I'm still working on the bottom section here, but they had the seam that went up here. This whole back section went on. So the seam went across here, and then you had the seam that came down here and then went this direction, and you can still see right across there, I got a little bit of a seam line, and I've got a little bit to touch up right there, and then I got a spot here that I've got to work on, but everything else is gone. Like I said, I got to come here and touch this up again. So we're working on the bottom. Got a little bit more to do here on the fantail, and then this is, which I don't know why I didn't shoot a primer on this when I was priming everything else, but I didn't. But this will be pretty good, because this feels very smooth, and there's no ridge anywhere. And same with the back, or the back of the neck there. Still got the little issue right there that I got to take care of. But you know, I've had a few guys tell me, you know, good luck with this kit, that you know, the seams are just horrible, which they are. But as you can see, just a little bit of work and perseverance, you can knock them out. Now here's this warp engine is already sanded, and that's just that line that you see is where the seam was, and I still got to go in and clean up where the rings are there. But that's just a shadow. There's no ridge there whatsoever, which when I shoot primer on it, it will tell me. It'll tell on me really quick. And then the seam went down here, and I got the end of it sanded flat, because you can see with this, it's kind of not even. It's even on this end, but not even on that end. So now I did have a little hiccup. I put 2-part epoxy on and put this in this whole section. Actually, maybe flip it around. This whole section here, and as you can see, it don't look good. And what I did was, I should have put the 2 halves of the nacelle together first, and then put the 2-part epoxy in, and then I could have adjusted it to where I needed it. But you can see there's a hell of a step there, and so I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. This had been glued in, and when I was working with all this, I ended up snapping this off. And I was asked if I could put pins through here to hold this on. It would be very difficult, you know, to even if I hadn't glued it together. I mean, it's impossible now, but even if I hadn't glued it together already, those pins, or those holes, you can see I had to go in at an extreme angle just to get them to come out in that. And so putting a pin straight through, it's just not going to happen. So when we put when I get ready to put the 2-part epoxy back on there, it will be, I will have to do some, you know, this I will, you know, have no issue with, but getting the 2 nacelles lined up when you put them on, so I don't have, you know, have one lower or out more than the other. They will be lined up. And the only reason for that is because I botched this. I'm going to put a little putty on there, just try to kind of clean it up a little bit, but I'm not going to worry anymore about it. Still got to sand the top of the nacelle there, but that's it. What I was going to show you here was actually, let me use the top section. What I did was I drilled out for the red and the green nav lights, because if you guys remember, I don't know if you remember or not, I don't know if I pointed it out, but there was little nubs there that resembled the nav lights and stuff. Well, what I did was took a 3mm, just a 3mm LED, dipped it in Tamiya red paint, and I made sure that the hole was large enough for it. And then that will be the nav lights, the red, and then the green will go to the other side. And then on the underneath, sorry for reaching across, this is one of the ways I store some of my LEDs. I've got little drawers that I have LEDs in, but I don't have enough for everything. And these are not going to be burning here, so it doesn't matter. But the white ones will go on the bottom. And I got some kind of mess right down that I got to clean up. I don't know what that is. But then the white or the clear will go underneath. So that's one little trick if you guys want to do that. And like I say, I've got the green one done up as well. Showing up more black on the screen, but it's red. I mean, it's green. Sorry. Okay, this is an update on the 22-inch AMT Enterprise, the cutaway version. It is all ready for paint. This is going to be the final color. I've got to go back and put another coat on this because I've got some spots on the dish up here that I've touched up. Nothing is glued, so the nacelles are not where they should be, and so don't start faulting me on that. I drilled holes back here for the Nav Lights, and yes, you are seeing on the bizarre scoops there, the collectors, one is a little darker orange than the other. I'm going to go back in and hit this one with another coat, and I'm actually going to reposition the camera. Give me just a second. Okay, that's better. You were looking down on top of the saucer and everything, and I'm not sure it's going to hit. No, it's not going to. You can see along the front here, I've got to go back in and spray. The dish is not glued on either, so it's kind of wonky. I think I got a can of bad primer because I shot this, the secondary hull. Had it all patched up and everything, and I shot it with a primer, and I put it out in the sun, let it warm up, the whole 9 yards. And so I didn't shoot it with cold primer, but when I shot it, it had the roughest texture to it, and I had to go back in, and I had a lot of sanding to do around the deflector housing there and everything. I mean, it was a mess. But the same instance, after I got it all sanded, it's the same can that I shot the secondary hull this time, and the 2 warp engines, and this has still got just a little bit of a texture to it, but the warp engines come out looking good. So go figure. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it just doesn't like that that secondary hull. But even though I'm putting the LEDs here and the LEDs back on the back for the Nav Lights right here, it is not going to be lit up. There seems to be a little confusion that that it's going to be lit up, and it's not. I'm not going to light it. The color, the dark gray primer here, and for some reason or another my camera, there we go, didn't want to focus too well. This is going to be the accent color, like for the rings there on the end of the nacelle, the end caps for the nacelles, and also the inserts in here will be, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this section in here will be masked off, and that will stay dark gray. I got the grills painted silver already that will go in there. I just got to, like I said, got to mask off that, and then there's a dark gray design under here, pattern that has got to be masked off, and then once those are done, I will shoot it with this. Like I say, this is going to be the hull color. So once I get the accents masked off and everything, then I will shoot it with the hull color, and then we'll be just about ready for decals. These little rectangle pieces here on the end will also be the dark gray. And I know I'm forgetting something. I'll go in and check my reference on it. I know there's going to be something. There's a little strip on the end of the neck. A lot of people paint it duck egg blue. I see it as another color gray. I don't know if it's just my eyesight or what, but I see it as another color of gray. Like I said, just a different shade of gray, but to each their own. So we're getting dangerously close. I've got to finish up my grandson's birthday present for him. I've only got 4 more days to do it. Actually, after today, which I've done all I can do today, so I'll start back on it tomorrow. So I have 3 days, actually 2 days to do everything. So, But that's neither here nor there. I may or may not show the car. I don't know. But that is the Enterprise. I misquoted. It's like 2 videos back about this entire thing, how I was going to paint it copper. Well, the only part that gets copper is the inside part, and none of y'all caught me on that, huh? So I got the deflector dish and the deflector housing, inside the deflector housing there, that's got to be painted copper. And like I say, I'll give that other nacelle cap one more coat of the orange. Alright, well here's the final on the AMT 22-inch cutaway Enterprise. It's all been flat coated now, and I think it looks pretty good. The engines, the warp engines, do have a slight droop to them. I don't know if it's twisting in here. I mean, I used 2-part epoxy to get them to glue them in, and I did have them braced up and everything, so they're not sagging. I mean, they look pretty straight. It's just that they got just a little bit, to me, a little bit of a droop to it. It may not be, but it kind of seems this right one, or the one closest to the camera here, is drooping just a little more than the other one over there. But anyway, still looks pretty good, I think. Like I say, used aftermarket decals on all this, and you guys seen how the saucer was in 2 halves. You had to put the nacelles together, and the secondary hull was in 2 pieces. So, but just to go over real quick some of the detail parts that I put on. I put on the resin aftermarket impulse deck there. On the back of the engines here, I put knock it off. I put resin end caps on both of them. New resin replacement grills on the inside there, and underneath. And I'll take the camera off and give you a little bird's eye view, or anti-bird's eye view. The dish is the all metal brass dish. So that was another upgrade part. You can see the decals underneath. There is a little bit of silvering on the NCC 1701. These decals tried breaking apart. I clear coated them. I had to clear coat them, wait a couple of days, or I had to wait a day before I could actually do anything else with them. There is more of a gap on this side of the neck, right in there, than there is on the other side. But it's what it is. So the Nav Lights are actual LEDs. The ones on the top was dipped in red, Tamiya red, clear red, and this was dipped in Model Master's clear green. The ones underneath are just clear LEDs right here. And let's see, like I say, went with all aftermarket decals on this. I don't know why my phone is having trouble focusing. Hang on just a second. There, I cleaned the lens. Maybe that don't seem to be helping anything either. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna put it back on the little deal here. Just lower it down some. There we go. But yeah, the hull color is the Krylon the Rust-Oleum primer that I used and everything. All I did was sand it and flat coat it. And I give you a look at the nacelle caps. These are the resin replacements, and these are resin replacements here as well, with the exception of one. And I didn't realize that this one here, when I got the kit, the guy had already replaced this one, but he didn't do anything with the one on this side, and I didn't pay any attention until I was already doing detail painting on it, which it's no big deal. The black windows is acrylic paint. I just went in and just took a fine brush and filled in the windows with, after I clear coated it, had a gloss finish on it. Just filled in the windows with almost like a sludge wash, but it was a not so watered down black paint. And then when it dried, I just took a damp paper towel and wiped across it and cleaned up, and the windows turned out pretty good. So, but there it is. Going to I'm trying to make you guys sick, but if I had one more Enterprise ship, I would have enough to do the Enterprise incident. So we'll put the Klingon in there, get them situated a little bit. So there we go. There's the two original Star Trek ships, the Enterprise and the Klingon. Now, I'm not sure what scale this is. I know the Katinga, the AMT Katinga is 1/537 scale, and that is supposedly 1/537 scale as well. But the D7s were larger, so I'm not sure what the scale would be on that. But there they are. So I'm done with the Star Trek builds for the time being. Hope you guys like them, and we'll just see you on the next build. So take care.